Yo everyone, Mercurial here. Today I have a bit of a different video, cause today Tidal released this guide on the new patch and a bit in general about the set and how to play. And I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, know Tidal is the current world champion of TFT and also won the world championships in set 9 as well, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, beast. And yeah, the guide was in Japanese, but I translated it to English. And yeah, let's get into it. And some of the translations will be a bit weird, but I will try to explain it anyways. I'll try to go through it quickly because it's pretty long. So yep, yeah, let's get into it. About this patch, just like the previous patch, this patch is basically about a strong 1 and 2 and 4 cost configuration, or 1 and 2 cost reroll or 4 cost configuration patch. Most of the configurations remain the same, with 6 scrap, ergot reroll, and visionary still in play, which were rampant in the previous patch. Many of the buffs are small in scale, like Dominator and Rebel, and the main buffs target rebels. As for Dominator configuration, there are too many unfavorable matchups to begin with, and the configuration itself is difficult to get right now. So it still seems underpowered. Yeah, it's so hard. Like you need, even if you get the Silico 2 Mundo 2, you're still not that strong. Like you need a legendaries. It's so hard. On the other hand, Rebels, as for Rebels, they were a fairly good composition at champions from the start, so even with the minor buffs, they seem to be quite good, especially with the Sentinel Heimer composition. Yeah, okay, and Sentinel Heimer is also good. Due to the Rebels HP buff, both of these have been buffed and become more powerful. Yep, for sure agree. Both Rebel and Sentinel Heimer look really strong right now. Like, I've been playing a bit of Rebel recently, and yeah, I've definitely been enjoying it, been doing pretty well. It's a bit like, what's it called? Emissary. Like, you need the legendary instead of Caitlyn, it's Jinx, but yeah, if you get the Jinx, it's so easy to go first, and even without, you can top 4. Changes to keep in mind. Chem Baron has been nerfed. Previously, it was augmented or dummy, so you played around the augment or dummy, but now you don't have the Chem Baron crest, so that's not really possible. Just drawing the Chem Baron's emblem was enough to win the championship, but the emblem has been removed, and it became much harder to get 500 stacks of Chem Baron. I think a composition with 300 to 400 stacks can still compete. Yeah, I think this is true for sure. Like, you can play Chem Baron still, but it's a lot harder and you need to really know what you're doing. You can't just lose streak and expect to win after you cash out. You need to have a solid plan, play around the Smeech or Silco, usually Smeech, I would say, but and then play around the 300 to 400 stack and really be sure about that you're gonna stabilize after you cash out, because it's not that simple. Also, with the removed Chem Baron emblem, it has become possible to guarantee the appearance of some emblems by obtaining the anomaly business card. So the anomaly that gives you an emblem. Now you can guarantee all of these. Very nice. The most useful is hit, although it is limited, is powerful of the following situations. So remembering it can broaden the scope of your play. Yeah, like Visionary, Pit Fighter, and Ambusher are the best emblems, apparently, according to him. And yeah, I tend to agree, kinda. Like the Visionary, obviously really good if you're playing Visionary or if you're playing Renata reroll. Pit Fighter, there have been already been encounters with Ambessa. Oh, that's true actually. Like if you already have like a Pit Fighter emblem, like the vertical is good. The problem is that it's kind of locked behind bad comps, like Violet is the only one I can think of where you want to play Pit Fighter. But it's true that if you're playing Ambessa, like the Ambessa encounter and have a Pit Fighter emblem, it's definitely good then maybe. So yeah. And regarding the Ambusher quest, it is powerful, not very favorable in the Jinx configuration. Maybe in Rebel, I'm not sure what it means. It is highly depending on the anomalies, and if you draw Ambusher because there will be 5 hidden players. I'm not sure what it means. Okay, but on the other hand, Scrap, when playing Scrap configuration, it's very powerful to bring out from Ambusher. It's a great idea to keep it in mind. Ooh, that's true. I didn't know it was that good, but yeah, if he says that it's really good in Scrap, I'm down to trust. And yeah, it's really good both on Rumble and Quirky, so yeah, makes sense. It increases the damage of Echo, and in case at level 9, it can put on Rumble or Quirky and 6 Scrap. With Ambusher, it's recommended to play Hidden Card 5. Not sure what the Hidden Card 5 is, maybe a 5 cost, or maybe the Rumble. But yeah, Ambusher can for sure be really good in that, and great to keep in mind. So here we come to the main comps. This is a composition that does not require special augmentations and it's easy to use in any match. This is a composition that has a clear condition and it's easy to judge at the glance whether it can be used. So the comps that you can play basically any game and just pretty simply see if you can go into. Like if you have a scrap on opener, you can play scrap. You don't need any special augment or anything. But yeah, let's go into them. 6 scrap. This is the only composition that can handle AD items that you can aim for almost unconditionally. You should especially aim for this when item-based augments appear in 2-1, and we can create a glove-derived item such as IE or Last Whisper. Yeah, gloves are really nice in Scrap. You can make like the Hosh, IE, Last Whisper, Jeweled Gauntlet. It's amazing. Its main strengths are the following two. The total number of items increases the durability of the entire team, making it relatively stable even when the main champion is at 1 star. I really agree with this. Like, if you get 6 scrap, it doesn't really matter that much if you have 1 stars. You can actually win rounds in stage 4, which is not very common. Usually you need 1 2-star. But yeah, it's definitely one of the strongest comps with 1-star forecast, so very true. And since there are many free slots, you can have a wide range of options for dealing with 6-cost cards you draw. Rumble allowing you to aim for early upswing. True. If you're lucky, you can hit Rumble, which is amazing early, and you can also fit many of the 6-cost, since you don't really have much to play at level 9, and even at level 8, you can just drop one of your units, like the Tristana for Victor or something. So very easy to fit the 6 costs. Very good to think about that as well. I don't often do it when I think about what comp to go, but for sure a good idea to do it. It is recommended to place the ingredients shown in the image. The effect of 6 scrap will always result in the following conversions. So yeah, Guard Breaker is great on the GP and Quirky. He recommends the Hosh for the Echo since it's not random, you always get it. And then the Crown on Powder. This is the least important, I would say. Like the Powder doesn't matter that much, of course, but yeah, if you can get the Crown, it's gonna be the best item for Powder. And then at level 9, put in 2 Sentinels if you have Rumble, or a 6-cost one if you drew, so 6 cost, and otherwise you can play a second Echo or a second Quirky. Makes a lot of sense. Maybe some of you didn't know about the second Echo Quirky, but yeah, it's definitely good, and you get a lot of shield and a good unit. Tips for playing. Only weapons are made. The defense is scrap, compensate with scrap shields. So yeah, don't make defensive items. It is kinda bad. Since it can be converted into a weapon with the effect of 6 scrap, do not make Warmogs or in the progression easily. Will not become a weapon, and even this route to use it. Okay, so don't make the defensive items. Make like support items like Ionic Spark and even Shroud instead. I don't know why he has the Hurricane here. Maybe he thinks that's pretty good. I'm not completely sure. He doesn't have it here and talks about Less Whisper IE, which I think is better, but yeah. Yes, the Ionic and even Shroud are definitely good. Augment should be prioritized as items. Yeah, you really want the item augments since they scatter material items. TG are difficult, or the augments are difficult to obtain, but yeah, if you can get them, it's really good, or like a TG augment, I guess, it's also good. Also, item crests held by dummies and golems are also converted into scrap shield, so it's a good idea to actively aim for them when a scrap crest appears on a trailer golem or wandering trainer. This is super true. I learned this like 2 weeks ago, and it's super good. Like if you get a scrap shield on a golem or something, you should definitely go scrap probably, and even a golem without the scrap shield, since you get the extra shield, you should probably consider playing scrap if you didn't get any good emblems. And then consider the encounter. The number of items equals the power of the composition. So it's recommended to prioritize encounters where the total number of items tends to increase, such as Vi, where you get 2 anvils, Mel's, Blessing, where you get a big blessing when you reach 40 HP, and Powder, where the monkey comes in at 3-5. So yeah, this is definitely worth thinking about, and I do it a lot in my games and it really helps. Some notable augments. Trait tracker. The first time you activate 8 unique traits in a single battle, you will receive 6 random emblems. Ooh, I never thought about it, but this is actually crazy in Scrap. You get so many emblems. That's a crazy amount of shield. I never thought about it. I will for sure go this in the future. And then flexible, yeah, the same thing. I didn't think about it. Makes total sense. So you receive the emblems every start of every stage. You probably seen it. Yep. The first one, strongest augment that gives you a shield worth 12 materials. Wow, that is crazy. How did I not think about that before? And the latter one is when you get a difficult to use emblem, so consider playing scrap. Yeah, so even if you don't get scrap from this, but you get some trash, you can play scrap because you get the extra shield. Reforged is also a boost that can become easier to drop. Okay, yeah, Reforger is nice to get, I guess it means. Recommended anomalies. The emblem one, you get scrap or ambusher, stone skin, 225 armor and MR, bulwark, increase physical defenses by 40 and magic by 40. If your health is above 50%, the increase is tripled. Okay, he really likes the tank ones on Echo. Interesting. Didn't know those were the best Echo ones. And then Center of the Universe, good on JP, the one that gives you 6 stars. Then the item anomaly is good, of course. Just use it on whoever you need items on. Or for the roll. Infectious anomaly, increase attack by 12% and ability power by 12. At the start of each round, grant this anomaly to a random ally. If you already have this anomaly, grant it 2% damage and 2% 2 AP instead. Yeah, many of the units can use it well, and you stall a long time in scrap, so getting extra damage is good overall. And yeah, the increase in AR and MR leads to skill rotation and effectively assists in damage, but anomalies should only be applied if the character is 2-star or has potential to become 2-star. Okay, makes sense. You get more casks off, I think it means, which helps with the damage. And yeah, Echo dies too quickly otherwise, but only do this if it's Echo 2. Very smart. I didn't know about this, but yeah, take Stone Skin and Bulwark on Echo. Currently really good. Then we come to Emissary Sorcerer. This AP composition does not require emblems or augment and is easy to enter from a winning progression. It is a 3-cost carry composition, but since there are many high costs required, rerolls should always be done at level 8. Okay, so don't do it at 7. The conditions for heading are when Nami or Swain falls in stage 1, or when you have Syra and Lux that overlap and it's looking like you can win and proceed. Conqueror when you can progress as a Conqueror. So yeah, if you get Conqueror Opener, that basically means you have a Swain drop, then you can go for it. Or when you have a good Sorcerer Opener, either with the low costs or the high costs. Makes sense, I think. 2-star Nami and 2-star Swain, both of these cards deal a lot of damage for a 3-cost card. They feel about as strong as a 4-cost 1.6 star. Very specific, but yeah, that is true. They feel very strong for 3 costs. So they are relatively easy to survive in Stage 4, which is a weak point of 3-cost reroll configurations. Yeah, that's very true. Like, if you get this composition, it's enough having like a Swain 2 and you're gonna be stable Stage 4. That's pretty uncommon. Usually you need a 2-star 4-cost, but yeah, for this one it's definitely enough. And then a mana acceleration is required. Mana item for mana acceleration item is required for Swain and Nami. Yeah, that's pretty common. Any of the following. So you want any of Shojin, Helm, Nashor, or Red Buff, or I guess several of them like Nashor and Shojin. Since the skill motion is long and you want to take down the opponent's rear guard early, it is recommended to have 2 mana acceleration items plus damage items rather than 2 mana acceleration items. So yeah, you want 2 damage items and 1 mana item is what it says, I'm pretty sure. Pretty normal stuff. Yeah, then LeBlanc, you're a high roller. If you can draw LeBlanc, your whole comp will be completed at 8, and it's crazy because you get Cyan. It's absolutely insane. So you can pour some gold into it at level 8. Yeah, if you have to use A8, then really look for the LeBlanc. And then at 9, add Jace, or if you have the Sorcerer emblem, you can play like 6 Sorcerer, or you can play a 6 cost. So we have 3 main options at level 9. Jace, a 6 cost, or 6 Sorcerer. Then tips for playing. Always play with a win. This is true for all 3-cost reroll, but unless you have special circumstances, it's generally not possible to aim for a 3-cost 3-star from a losing progression. Oh wow, I didn't know about this, or like, it's an interesting take from title here. That you shouldn't go for a 3-cost 3-star if you're lose streaking. I feel like many actually try to play 3-cost reroll from lose streak. Maybe not for this comp, but in general. But yeah, interesting take. I mean, it's for sure true. It's a very nice win streak when you're playing for 3-cost reroll, so yep, very true. And yeah, situations like 8 straight losses is what it means, of course. And yeah, since you have Conquer, rather than going in with a full open and losing, I want to reduce the number of enemies and recover at least 35 stacks for the 2-cost 2-star. And then at 100 stacks, get the Champion Duplicator. Yeah, this is super good. You can small Champion Duplicator. You can get like Swain 3 a lot easier. Or the Nami 3 if you want that. Super big if you get 200 stacks. And then do not stack Zoe or Tristana with items, I think it means. The shape of 4 Emissary synergistic for okay, Swain does not get the damage increase effect of the Emissary, but all 3 characteristics are activated, so prioritize placing items on it over 2. Yeah, prioritize placing items on Swain, I think it means. Since you sell it the moment you draw it, and you almost never have an item prepared to give it, it's generally not stacked, does nothing, and so do not stack it. Yeah, I think it just means don't put items on Zoe and Tristana. Just put them on Swain and put them like Garen and then Nami as well. Makes sense. Then a poke, gain 6 XP when you acquire the augment, and you also, the notable augment. I think we all know a poke. That makes sense that it's good. You can get the Swain 3 easier, you can stabilize. Maybe go 9 for the LeBlanc. chase. Heroes Lucky Grab Bag makes sense. You can go for Swain 3. If you're in a position to go for Swain 3, it's really good. And his note is nothing in particular. This composition that requires a lot of gold in exchange for its high power. So if you get one money related item, that is good. One money related augment. Yeah, okay. That's pretty interesting. I don't know you really wanted an econ augment, but yeah, makes sense. You want to Swain 3, Nami 3 and stuff, so yeah. Then recommended anomalies. In most cases, Elise do not overlap and do not appear LeBlanc until it comes, so tends to develop into a situation where it's essentially taking a loan, so recommend to equip tank anomaly to Garen. Okay, so you want Garen anomaly, and it looks like, yeah, he just puts like every tank anomaly there is, and you put it on Garen. What is the Vladimir one? Oh, a dramatic entrance. So start of battle, jumps up from the field after 6 seconds, arrived with 55% increased max health, and stuns all enemies for 2 seconds. Yeah, that seems pretty good. You just put it on Vladimir, get a lot stronger, so yep, nothing weird. Then we come to Academy Visionary Heimer. So either the Academy version or the Visionary version. Yep, Heimer buffs in this patch have made it a lot easier to play Heimer. I like to play it from the following events occurred in the early stages. So if you get an Ezreal drop, if you're playing Sentinel pieces, if you're playing a Sentinel opener, that is, if you're playing a Visionary opener or like playing towards Visionaries early and you can maybe go towards Visionary line, or also if you have one of the emblems for either Academy or Visionary. Interestingly, he doesn't put Sentinel here, and I kind of agree. Sentinel's a lot worse than having the Visionary or the Academy emblem. I mean, so yeah, makes sense. And then for sorcerer openers, I can't progress along the sorcerer axis, but items are geared towards AP. That is true. If you have a sorcerer opener, you can definitely play this as well. You can just transition from the sorcerer opener into, like, you're probably already playing Lux, so you can play either this or the second version. Makes a lot of sense. Heimer, the item in the blue buff, are essential, and the other two are for damage. So, and one of them can usually be a gunblade. So you really need the blue buff, then you want damage items, but one of them is often also a gunblade, which is really good, especially in the Sentinel version, I would say, where you have a lot of tankiness. And blue buff is an item that cannot usually be made in 2-1, so it's okay to make it once and proceed. So you make it later, I guess it means. It is recommended to move to another unit when you have made Shojin in the last neutral run. Not completely sure what it means here, but yeah, he seems to really prefer the blue buff, makes sense, but maybe it means you could make the Shojin if you have to. But yeah, the blue buff is a lot better if you get it, for sure. For the Academy type, replace with Rumble when you draw. So I think it means that late in the game, when you get Rumble, you just play Rumble instead of some random unit, so like you can remove Rel or something like that. And at level 9, add a suitable add a suitable 6 cost to complete, or use another unit like Rel, Malzahar, Corki, or Jace, depending on what you can fit. Just depends what you can fit on your board, and yeah. And often you don't hit Jace off, obviously, so you're playing Corki maybe instead of Jace here. But yeah, you have many things you can add, and 6 costs are pretty good on 9, especially. Visionary for Visionary. Look at the Academy items. If they are not needed, replace Leona late game, or even on level 8 with another with a new one and use them as the main tank. If there is a new one, replace it with a new one. Wait, okay. But basically, they mean play like Ilo instead of Leona if the Academy item is bad, but if it's good, you're playing Leona. And you can also replace Leona for Rumble if you don't play the Ilaoi. And also if you have Visionary Crest, you can use that. And then about the coat of arms. Academy, since it counts as a sponsored item, it is recommended to equip it as an HP increasing item. Wow, what? I didn't know this counts as an Academy item, the emblem itself. That's interesting. Yeah, then it's definitely good on your tanks. If you don't have any armor item to wear, you can just equip it on your main tank. Yeah. And then Visionary on Rumble. Yeah, it's insane. You just cast all the time. It's crazy. It is extremely powerful because it has the effect of Visionary. Okay, yeah. Weird translation, but yeah. You ult all the time if you put it on Rumble, so definitely look for that. And otherwise, you just put it on some whatever unit makes the most sense. It doesn't really matter much. Maybe Lisa on this board. And then about the Academy items, basically don't need to worry too much about it. Just be careful because there are many items that need to be shredded. However, make sure to check if the Academy items are Hurricane. Yeah, just like the video I made, I think it was Honglian playing, and he checked and it was the Runans, and he actually got this Runans augment, and it was super, super good. He looked before and saw that it was Runans, so he played into it. Definitely really good to know. Yeah, Ezreal Runans in addition to activated skills. Rebel gives an attack speed buff. Okay, it gives damage buff, so it's a good match. Ezreal just making this strong enough to get through stage 4, so it's worth aiming for. Yeah, you can win a ton stage 4. It's especially easy to use with the following combination. So in the Academy, that's Runans, Warmogs, JG. Makes sense. And yeah, because of that, the Runans augment is good. Then also the Academy augment is obviously good. The Runans augment is recommended to be taken only if you have the Academy Runans. Yeah, nothing weird here, otherwise you don't take the Runans thing. But if you get it, like Ezreal uses Runans super well, and it's insane. Then recommended augments anomalies, basically look for Ilaoi anomalies. It's recommended to put general purpose anomalies on due to skill motion placement. Okay, I think just take a decent anomaly means. Yeah, there are many puts here, like the tank ones for Ilaoi, basically all of them. Then gain mana each time you get a kill on Heimer. Fireball on Heimer. Although it says burning, the original text actually means burning, and it also seems to be inflict injury at the same time. Okay, a bit unclear, but okay, it's a bit better than it seems. But yeah, Fireball, Dragon Soul, each new attack, yeah, pretty good. You can also put this on Corki if you're playing Corki version. Center of Universe, as we saw before, just a good augment. And then Emblem, yeah, good on Jace, because you can only get Academy. Not that good on the others, because you don't really want the other things. Conditional configurations. So the conditional comps, although it can only be played in a limited number of games, it's powerful, and if the conditions are right. So, yeah, Enforcers. Overview. Head there when you can pick up something between 2-1 and 3-2. Enforcer or the automation martial law is activated at 4-2. So he means that you should only play it with the emblem or with martial law. Interesting. I see many play it without the emblem, but yeah, we trust title, so it says if you get the emblem between 2-1 and 3-2, you can play it. Or martial law 4-2. Martial law is a Ambessa Caitlyn augment. Then Pandora's Bench is also good. Not completely sure why. Maybe so you get the Caitlyn, and also you want the TF3, maybe you could try to roll for. Interesting. Caitlyn is very powerful if you have it, so if recommended that you aim for it. Yeah, Caitlyn is like the core of the comp. If you get Caitlyn, you can top 4 and even top 2. Without her, it's like hard to even top 4. You have a plan to get Pandora's Bench or Caitlyn if you already have it. In that respect, martial law is more valuable than Pandora's Spence because it gives you Caitlyn immediately. Yeah, Pandora's okay, it was for Caitlyn. Interesting. There are 1 to 2 free slots. Sentinel or Elise or 2-star or similar. Yeah, so you play something good. So like Elise is good, Sentinel is good, Ambessa is good, GP is good. Those are the main ones, I would say. Then tips for playing. Enforcer. If there is no reroll while checking scrap composition and balance, this is the most important thing. I'm not sure what it means here. The ideal thing is Caitlyn to aim for it and drawing at level 8. The easiest way to achieve this is when you have progressing towards a scrap configuration. Maybe it means that you're playing towards scrap, and then if you hit Caitlyn, you can go for this instead. A bit unclear. Be sure to have the item off. It is recommended of Caitlyn. It is recommended to have it in your possession on TF and progress and put it onto Caitlyn, I guess. Also, an item with a drawback that fixes attack speed to 0.5, but since it only has 0.55 to begin with, you can get exception status with almost no drawback. Oh, okay, so Silver Mirror on Caitlyn is good. Or on Vi. Okay. You should keep in mind when you progress by having in your possession and eventually handing over to... Yeah, okay, so you put the blue buff or Shojin on Caitlyn and first on the TF. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and the augments, martial law, like we said, Pandora's, or this 1 buff, 2 buff, 1 red buff, 1 blue buff, 1 champ duplicator. Well, I didn't think about that, but yeah, this one is really good. Whether or not you have martial law, give Enforcer Emblem to Ambessa rather than to someone else. The latter is useful when you get it but don't have any items. Not sure what the other one is, it doesn't say, but yeah, put the Enforcer thing on Ambessa. Recommended anomalies, and yeah, here you can see how he itemizes, so he puts on Vi even though he has an Ambessa. So he prioritized Vi over Ambessa. Basically, Vi fighter tank anomalies are okay, and Caitlyn, because there are a few things that go well with. Yeah, a few Caitlyn. So you need gold to draw them, so you have to make some compromises. Okay, so you can't always go for Caitlyn ones. Last Chance, Dive In, Bulwark, Stone Skin. Yeah, the Bruiser and tank ones, or some of the tank ones. Same ones as Echo you can remember for the tank ones. And then the Bruiser ones, Dive In and Last Chance. For Caitlyn, it's every 10 player health lost, gain 5% increased damage. And Cruel Claws, this champion has 40% increased crit chance. And yeah. Otherwise, the emblem on Lores is good, because you want the Sentinel, otherwise the Enforcer is really good. And Dramatic Entrance Lores is good. Interesting. Then we get to Rebel. I think this is the last comp, so hang in here. Rebel got buffed a lot, so this is, yeah, interesting, as it says here. Rebel got buffed in this patch. The conditions to move forward are Rebel, Spat, when obtained between 2-1 and 3-2, or Rageblade, when you can make a strong opening move and get a winning move. Yeah, I like this, especially if you have the Rebel opener with Rageblade, it's super nice. Or Jinx, when you encounter something that is easy to connect to, such as Scuttle Puddle or Gold Subscription. Yeah, so when you can go into this and you get a Jinx, you can definitely look into this because Jinx is insane in it. At level 9, Ambusher is good to add, or Nami. Put in the 6-cost card you drew if you get that. Rebel, if you have one, you can put on Rumble, I guess it means here, and play for Sentinel. You can also play Echo and add other traits to them. Most 5-cost champions Rebel are the Rebel emblem are compatible with, so it's also powerful to just put in a 5-cost champion you drew at level 8. Yeah, for example, a Jace can be really good with the Elise. In the current environment, Rageblade, this is the only high cost build that can be created using the winning progression. So Rageblade, when creating the early game, it's a good idea to play close attention to rebels as you proceed. Yeah, so if you played Rageblade, maybe play Rebel. This is a good early game. I play this most of the time. I play Rebel. Or I play the Akali over set if I have the Akali and not set. This set, Rageblade has strong progression with low cost AP units, so it's easy to progress towards Rebels while winning. Also, since you can have 3 cost units with Rageblade, it's easy to gradually strengthen your carry. Like Enforcer build, Caitlyn, Jinx, this build relies heavy on whether you draw or overlap with other cards, so Jinx, you'll want to make sure you have items ready. Yeah, you want items for Jinx, and Jinx is super important, just like Enforcer with Caitlyn. I've made that observation as well. They're pretty similar comps in that way. Jinx, it's important to be able to make down your opponent's rear guard with one hit with the skill. So Jinx critical hit judgment of the skill is essential. You want i.e. an ambusher, so you can one-shot. An item priority is 1-star Jinx, and then 2-star Zoe, and then 1-star Zoe. And no, or no. Or yeah, 1-star Jinx, 1-star Zoe. Ambusher, if you don't have space for hidden player Zoe, you can prioritize carries. Not sure what it means. Maybe put the Ambusher emblem on Zoe. No, probably not, because it's not an emblem. But yeah, Ambusher is good to add. Shojin, since both our equipment can be carried by both, I would like to make this a priority. Okay, Shojin is really good apparently. Interesting. I don't see that many go Shojin, but yeah, it's good. I mean, obviously on Jinx is good though. Didn't know it was also really good on Zoe, but yeah. Guardbreaker has a long skill motion and is not that strong. Okay. I think the translation is weird. I think it likes Guardbreaker. Tips for playing. Be careful with a number of remaining Ilawis, since Ilawi is responsible for the entire front line. Ilawi, if there are other players around who are likely to use, you will need to make some adjustments, such as turning one turn earlier. Yeah, if many are playing Ilawi, maybe roll a turn earlier to make sure you get her. Continuing to look for only 2-star Zoe, 1-star cards is the biggest way for rebels to lose. Yeah, you need to get the Jinx, is what I think he means. The dramatic entrance is simply powerful. The stun effect for rebels, 7 Frost dramatic entrance stun plus Elise will completely stop the opponent from moving. If you get this, be sure to take. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Makes a lot of sense. Just like Victor. Next, Jinx prioritizes mana acceleration and damage. If you don't have Ilawi's tank anomaly, it's recommended. If you use the thing that gives you an emblem, you can use it on Jinx. Yeah. So dramatic entrance on Settery or Irelia, otherwise tank anomalies on Ilawi, or no waste when an ally gets the mana things on Jinx. Then for every 10 player health lost, you can put on Jinx or Zoe. Cruel Claws, this champion has 40% increased crit on Jinx. Emblem thing on Jinx. Center of the Universe, Zoe. Dragon Soul, every time a new target, Zoe. Wow, that was a lot. But yeah, that is everything. Or actually, there's more. And then he's gonna add Visionary Reroll and Ergot Reroll. I'm not gonna make an updated video, but if you want to see that, just go into the link that I will put in the description. And then lastly, this article is aimed at intermediate players, so I've put together a composition with easy to understand loose conditions. Plan to write something every patch from now on. Since this is my first article, I put a lot of effort into writing it, so it ended up being long. Thank you for reading. Yeah, very happy to see this. very nice, I think. I don't think it's just for intermediate. I think some of these things are actually, I think many don't know. Like the Runans thing in Academy, for example, I think many GMs and Chal aren't really that aware of, for example. And like especially like exactly this Academy and stuff. But yeah, hope you enjoyed and see you next time.